Hello everyone, I'm Mike Feltberger, and it's time for the May 27th Shellhammer Dirt Track Wingless Wednesday race recap. After 4 consecutive rainouts, Mother Nature finally decided to give Dave Courtier Jr. and Brenda Courtier a chance to put on some racing action at the little track by the river, the 8th mile Shellhammer Dirt Track, located right off of Route 61 in Leesport, Pennsylvania. 8 classes on tap for the May 27th night of racing, and here's how things went down. First up was the junior sprints. 15-lap feature. Taking the win in the 26 was Andrew Ferriola. Second in the 64B was Barrett Bressler. Third in the 712 was DJ Alderfer, and getting the 4th spot was the 36J of Jackson Payero. Some early race dicing, but after about halfway point sign given by Dave Courtier, it was looking to be a Andrew Ferriola win, and that's exactly what happened. Nobody challenged the 26 of Andrew Ferriola for the last half of the race, and he claimed the feature win in the 15-lap junior sprint A-main. Next up, junior slingshots. A little bit of a small field for there. We're used to getting like 10 cars right now, with a couple of the drivers moving up to the all-star class and other various classes, but a fantastic race as well. Taking the win in the 35A was Aubrey Romig. Second in the C19 was TJ Crone, and getting third in the 18T, Travis Mundell. Travis Mundell was the race leader going into turn number 3 of the first lap, but Aubrey Romig in the 35A just decided to take over the race, and she took over it completely, leading all 15 laps of the junior slingshot A-main. Another feature win for the 35A of Aubrey Romig. But I guess some fantastic mid-pack racing. But again, coming out on top, 35A Aubrey Romig. Third A-main of the night was the restricted 600 micros. This class is starting to grow. I believe the first night we had 4. We are now up to 6. These younger racers in the 600 micros, it's restricted as far as engine capability, and also they have a weight limit and an age limit. So the restricted 600 micros putting on a show last night. Getting the win in the 36, Jocelyn Durinsig. She also claimed the win earlier in the season. Second, going to the 44 of Wayne Wolf, and third, Joey Denisi. There was a good battle for that second spot there for a while. Denisi and Wolf. After Denisi actually spun, went to the rear and came back to the field, challenging up, but just missed out in getting second by a couple feet at the checker for the restricted 600 micros. Again, Jocelyn Durinsig putting the 36 in the victory lane for that event. Stage 1 modifieds, and that one went wire to wire with Patrick Weiss in the 721 claiming the win. Second going to the 25 of Brett Smith, and third going to the S1 of AJ Gerhardt. There was another one battle there. In fact, a couple times heading into turn 3 on a couple laps, Smith actually had the 25 ahead of Patrick Weiss, but coming off of turn 4, Weiss had the high line to his liking and stayed on and took the win in the Stage 1 modifieds. Again, top 3, Patrick Weiss first, Brett Smith second, AJ Gerhardt third. Got to give hard luck to to Luke McCloskey driving the 721M. He had some engine issues, did not even make it out for his qualifying event, and was a scratch from the feature. So the hard luck in the Stage 1 modifieds going to the 721M of Luke McCloskey. Fifth A-main was a 600 micros. Good solid field of 600 micros, 17 600s, and the racing was literally intense. The battle in the top, I'd say from 3rd back to about 8th, you didn't know what was going to happen. Positions were changing every lap. A couple of times on the restarts, guys would lose a couple spots, and then they'd come back and gain a couple spots. And here's how things went down for that. Taking the win in the 5, Trevor Kobolars. Solid showing for Trevor. There was nobody that was going to deny him, and they're getting into lap traffic. He found a way to get through lap traffic with ease, the slower cars actually giving him some racing room to get by. But taking the win in the 5, Trevor Kobolars. Second, going to the 76B, JT Bierman. be nice if JT would be a regular at the Shellhammer Dirt Track because he gets around the high banked 8th mile with some speed and precision. Third, going to Adam Buechele in the 10. Adam was an 8th place starter, and for the first 5 laps, he didn't go anywhere, but all of a sudden, he could pick and choose whether he wanted to run the low side or the high side. Good, strong showing for Adam Buechele in the 10. They get third. And the 4th was the G-Man, Geezer Finelli. In fact, one of the restarts, Geezer was third. And after we got the first lap done after a restart, he fell back to 7th, worked his way back up to get a nice 4th place finish in the G car. And Brantley Flozak, looking pretty solid at the Shellhammer Dirt Track, getting 5th in the 27F. But again, a lot of position swapping there in the 600 micro class. A couple of yellows along the way, but the racing was fantastic when they put their minds to it on the speedway under green flag conditions. 125 micros, 6th class on the speedway, 15 lap A-main. Taking the win in the 17E was Easton Miller. Second, going to the 15, Mitch Gibson, and Seth Gregory in the 14, getting third. A couple position swaps along the way. Seth Gregory was up to second early in the event, but fell back to third. Of Mitch Gibson was third at the beginning of the race and came back and got by Seth Gregory for second. So the top 3 was Easton Miller, Mitch Gibson, and Seth Gregory for the 125 micros. 7th class on the speedway was the All-Star Slingshots. Only one caution flag and 20 laps for the All-Star Slingshots, and that was early in the race. Other than that, it was a fantastic showing for these racers. Getting the win in the 42H, Brett Bieber. Brett hopping into one of the Horvath team cars, getting the win in the 42H. Frank Fritzinger looking pretty strong after moving up from the junior class, getting second in the 51. Mason Pittenger coming back on board the Shellhammers, getting third in the 42P, with Colton Williams, 911C, getting fourth. Colton Williams Racing was one of our voucher sponsors. I'd like to thank Colton Williams Racing, the 911C, for sponsoring the concession stand vouchers for the night. And getting fifth was 42T Tess Horvath. She actually drew for the starting spots for the heats for both her and Brett. Brett actually got the start up front in his heat. Tess sort of had to start back a little bit in her heat, but at the finish of the 20-lap A-main, Tess Horvath got the 42T up into the 5th spot. Well, again, only one caution was needed. And our final A-main was 20 laps for the 270 micros. 15 270 micros signed into the pits, and this was a classic right down to the wire. These guys, and again, only one caution was needed, and that was, I believe, on lap number 1. We had a car stopping in turn number 2, but the remaining 20 laps were run with no cautions. One caution only needed for the 270 micros. Getting the win, former point champion Matt McAnally in the 45. Matt only running one class this year. He's not in the 600 micros, but putting on a strong showing in the 270 class. Getting second, coming from the 6th starting spot, a feature winner here earlier in the year in the Sam Borger 04, Jared Imler. Another solid showing for Jared in the 04, getting second. Dan Lane Jr. hopping into the 270, the number 16, getting the 3rd spot. Finishing 4th was the 10 of Adam Buechele. You can always count on Adam to be a top 5 finisher when the race is over. He was mixed up with a couple of the mid-pack runners, but just keeps finding a way to get past, whether it's high, middle, or low. The 10 of Adam Buechele getting 4th. And rounding out your top 5, this is nice to say, Sleeveless Mike Kalman. He had one of the roughest seasons in 2025. It didn't matter. He was an innocent victim in an accident, had a tire go down, had engine issues, but all of a sudden the 17K of Sleeveless Mike Kalman is starting to show some signs of speed early in the season. So that's how things went down. Matt McAnally getting the 270 win. Brett Bieber getting the All-Star Slingshot win. Taking the 125s was Easton Miller. Your Trevor Kobolars was your 600 micro winner. Getting the win was Patrick Weiss in the stage 1s. Jocelyn Durinsig in the restricted 600 micros. Aubrey Romick in the junior slingshots, and Andrew Ferriola in the junior sprint class. We'll be back returning to June the 3rd, another night of high-speed racing. Again, if you are a first responder or a veteran and you have your proper ID credentials, you get free admission into Shellhammer Dirt Track. So hope to see a couple new faces at the little track by the river, the 1/8 mile oval, located right off of State Route 61, just north of Leesport, Pennsylvania. So Mike Feldberger, hope everybody's safe week, and see you at the Speedway next Wednesday at Shellhammer Dirt Track.